Are you ready, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Okay. Call this meeting to order 12:36. We are here to have a discussion with the Murray Water Association, HMH, everybody involved to discuss potential use of county properties for wells. Did you already start this ball rolling?
Yes, I did.
Why don't you take
Okay.
over with that?
We talked last week, or no, it's been about a few weeks ago, regarding Lakes Highway District and was it Garwood Water District? Talking to our legal, they would like you guys to go out and have an attorney draw up the contract, if you could, and then cite cases. One of the problems we're having is a right of way. Our legal has looked into that. Is we don't, he's unsure whether we own the right of way itself. So we would like to have you guys go out and get a contract and have an attorney provide case law on that. And I would be inclined to approve it on that base, that they go out and have that done and then bring it to us. We can approve it, approve the land is to be used as such. As if your attorney draws up the contract and provides a certain case law, and we can go with that.
Well, I guess one question I have too for Murray, is your attorney concerned the county's right-of-way ownership? Whether you actually have ownership?
Well,
or just wanting to know examples of where this format has been utilized for people to access it for wells.
Well, see, with right-of-ways, it's public land, really. So if you give up a right-of-way, it goes back to the two adjoining property owners. And that's where the problem lies. Now, so basically, our legal department is stating that, since there was other entities that did that, they probably do have legal, possibly you could reach out to them and see what their legal I'm sure they've talked to their attorney. And but he was just, concerned about that, about, the right-of-way not being ours. It's just a right-of-way, it's not really land.
Right, and so, and the example I gave you with Garwood and Lakes, it's like a lease agreement. It's not, it's not the county giving up that, but it's giving up management for it, like we talked about in our last meeting, for that space.
A long-term lease agreement.
Yep.
Yeah, it was 99 years, I believe, is what they.
Yeah, we talked about 99 and the life. We see that as for the lifetime of the well. So this is for DEQ to be able to prove it as a site if it's a feasible site. The one thing with that, we do have plenty of examples where that can be. I gave you another example. The state of Idaho.
Yep. On the BLM land.
It's Idaho state land, and Bayview Water and Sewer District has lease agreement with the state of Idaho.
Is that a right of way as well?
It's not a right of way. It is actually state-owned property. But where we have certain properties in trust, they have to also be for the best benefit of the public, for all of us. But that county one with Lakes is an example, so that might be helpful. Does Murray have an attorney?
No.
No? Okay. Would it be something, do you think, that your attorney would be able to review, or do they need a proposal from an attorney? So as an example.
Basically indicated that he wanted a proposal from another attorney to go ahead and go forward and have them draw up the contract.
Who wants the Murray Water Association to do that?
Yeah.
What do you think? We're going to do what we have to do.
We'd be in agreement on that. I think we can move forward to a decision that, we can.
I think everybody's in favor of the idea.
Just get all legal documents necessary.
Yeah, we just want to make sure we get our I's dotted and T's crossed.
Now, something else your legal might want to look at. A couple of years ago, uh, before Jim Mileto left HMH, he drew up some engineering for a right of way that runs next to my home and my neighbors.
Mhm.
It's a county right of way. And it's been sitting with legal for 2 years, thereabouts. Then the plan was to deed the county right of way to the property owners along it because the county has no use for it.
Okay.
And that's something that's already drawn up and sitting with your legal.
Okay, you can request that to be on the agenda, on another agenda.
Oh, I'm not worried about it for me. I'm just saying,
Okay.
you know, it's a similar deal where you have a right of way and you want to give it to somebody. Well, in that case, it would be me and my neighbors. In this case, it would be Murray Water.
So we see, and that's where the rub is a right of way is a right of way. It's not a deeded piece of land where we own the land underneath of it. So, so like for instance, when we give up the right of way, it goes to the adjacent property owner. We can't sell it. It has to go to the adjacent property owner. So really.
Okay,
that's
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the case of the right of way by my property,
Mhm.
it's easy for you to deed it to me. But to deed a right of way to Murray Water,
Yeah.
complications.
Yeah, there's complications, exactly.
All right. Well, we have enough money to hire a lawyer.
Well, and Jesse, this may be something that you want to evaluate too. What I mean, we could do like a public records request or just share the document to see. I don't know if Lakes owns it. It's their right of way, which I do know. That was the example that we had for Garwood Water Co-op to have access. But it might be something that needs to be evaluated if it's a feasible site anyway. Before going through that effort. I mean, you want to have access, but before you guys do any engineering, you want to be able to know that you have access. But I don't know if you want to review those documents too before they hire an attorney.
We lost sound.
On Jim's phone?
There we go. I can hear you now. We can hear you now.
So my video keeps freezing up. Is there any way I can call on Jim's phone?
Yes.
So much for the internet.
Yeah.
It's probably much better up in Murray.
Yeah.
Is this optimum?
Okay, Jesse, I got you on speaker.
Okay, that's much better. Sorry, we missed out on a lot of that because it kept freezing on us. But Anna, you were asking me a question.
Yeah, just linking back to the example with Garwood Water Co-op, and for their well site, they were able to get an agreement with Lakes Highway District to have access in the right of way for the lifetime of the well, and where the county is asking Murray Water Association to have their attorney draw up a contract. I'm wondering if you and Murray also want to review the type of contract that we have on record from that example to see if that's something that still fits this circumstance.
Okay, so I think I'm hearing you say that we need to put in a public records request to look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that.
And you can name both Jim or myself so it gets routed and just be specific. The well site agreement between Lakes Highway District and Garwood Water, I guess.
Okay. And then I've got questions. Anna, is this, I mean, there's obviously going to be lawyer's fees attached to this. Is that project reimbursable?
Generally, I think, but I can't answer that 100%.
Okay.
The other part of when you consider Murray doesn't have an attorney on retainer. So just like we have to see your contract agreement, with HMH, between HMH and Murray, I would believe that if it is approvable through SRF, that we have to have a contract in place. So
Okay.
unless it's something you run through your attorney, but I don't know how that. Really, they need to represent Murray's interest.
So, and that's not a problem. That's something that Steve and I can talk about offline.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess a big question is if we ran it through our attorney and they represented Murray, who would I talk to about whether or not that's SRF reimbursable? Would it be Katie
Or Steve Burns.
or Steve? Okay.
Yeah, Steve Burns. Start with Steve. He's out. I can actually call Charlie and ask the question today. I'll call Charlie after the meeting.
Okay. Appreciate that.
Steve's out for a couple days, and so's Katie. So. Okay.
Does that give us clear next steps? We know what we're doing next.
I think we can approve it upon them being able to provide a contract and, like Ben said, cite case law.
Right. Or in this case, they'll have an actual example of this.
But it doesn't have the case law, and I've already done that by Ben.
Okay, so next steps then would be their attorney drafting something for us to approve.
Exactly.
Okay. And I think you've heard the commission is inclined to move that direction. We just need to get the proper paperwork and we'll take care of it. Okay.
Now Ben is with Silver Valley Law, so they're out probably for someone to represent you.
Yeah, I know. I know that.
You may want to reach out to the Lakes Highway District and that water district and see who they have, and just maybe some simple word.
Well, Lakes would be with our Attorney
Silver
General's
Valley
office.
represents
So.
the other
Yeah, the other water.
Yeah.
cities and stuff
Yeah.
too. So
But with Lakes, I don't know if they had individual or if it was a county thing or if it would be through the Attorney General's office. But it'd be easy at least to do the research and find out what the best avenue is.
I'll get with Jesse.
All right,
We'll figure something out.
let's make it happen. Anything further, Commissioner?
Well, there was other two property that we have, right, that the county owned, and did we decide not on those properties? I know we couldn't do it on the county property itself, what the shop is, right?
Correct. Yep, and that was really close to the location of another well house as well, and I think you guys had wanted them spread out.
Separate.
So the two that you had looked at, you were looking off of the county right away off of Pritchard Creek Road. And then the other right away that didn't connect all the way through further east in town.
So it was all right of ways that we're talking about right now. There wasn't another piece of county property that.
Well, the right of way just talking about in the town of Murray, the county does own.
Okay.
It's county
County owned.
owned
It's not
that,
right.
and so, and I think that was the spot you guys had talked about and agreed upon at the last meeting. So the only one I really looked into is the right of way one that we had talked about.
Okay.
What about I believe there's a small parcel right behind the old county courthouse there. That appears to be an actual parcel. And it appears to be
The
separate.
little tiny parcel within a parcel.
Yep.
In there. I don't know what we had considered
They talked to
that
them
little
about
tiny
that.
parcel.
Was it because of the property next to it that it put it up to? But that wouldn't matter if it's our parcel.
Right.
Maybe it's the size.
I thought we talked about 3 locations One was
Awesome.
adjacent to the courthouse. One was across the street to the south of the courthouse. And then between Daryl Stoll's property and the Thompson Pass Road.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
We had a
That's-
map.
that's
Did you
what we
give us all
talked
a
about.
And the
copy?
3 areas that I
Yeah.
had looked into and had been looked at were actual right-of-way areas. They weren't within the parcels. Because I don't know why we didn't look into the one that the courthouse was on that had the little parcel square within the parcel. I don't know the reason why we didn't look into that little tiny
Was it that it was
piece.
going to be too close to the other location?
I don't believe so. I don't
Okay.
believe that was, yeah, because we looked at the right of way next to that, that butts up to it, and then we had concerns about blocking access to the adjacent property owners, so we didn't look any further at that one, and so I think we were just looking at the other right of ways at that point, so.
So maybe we wanna investigate other areas so that we can move this forward a little quicker if you can do something on that.
Yeah, I mean, all options would be.
Yeah,
a
because they're gonna
benefit
need
to the
2
value.
locations, so,
Yeah.
I mean, at one point, we are gonna need to, one of them is gonna have to be a right of way, since, you
Yeah.
know, that, if we can figure out if that little tiny parcel within a parcel would work, you know, that would be different than the right of way, but
Yeah.
one of them will need to be a right of way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if the county's willing to do that, to evaluate that parcel of this, unless you already have a reason why that wasn't, but.
Do you think that's something that we could look into, or would we need to
can't-
designate that to another?
Let's talk to Ben because I thought that there was a reason why that wouldn't work.
We'll look at that and we'll follow up, just so everybody knows where
Either
we're at with that.
verify
yes.
it or eliminate it.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay,
yeah, we will get on that right
appreciate
away.
that, please. All right, Steve, anything else from your end?
No, I'll go with Jesse and we'll figure out some with attorneys and we'll see where we go.
Anything else from?
Don't think so.
When you guys find something, just get back with Sydney and get it on the agenda as soon as you can. We'll get this moving.
All right. Seeing that we've all had our input then, I guess at this point we are adjourned.